Another clickbait astronomy headline. Astronomers spot a giant planet that's as light as cotton candy, and that sounds ridiculous, but this one is real. These special exoplanets are actually a part of my dissertation research, which was about observing the evolution of exoplanet atmospheres over time. This is a special class of exoplanet called a superpuff, and they're enormous planets, oftentimes the size of Jupiter or Saturn, but having the mass of only a couple Earths. This is very difficult to explain. We can determine the size of a planet by what's called the transit method. You'll notice that when the planet transits in front of the star, you'll get a slight dip in brightness. You know the size of the star, you can determine the size of the planet based on how much light is blocked. Once you have the size of a planet, all you need is the mass. Think of planets orbiting stars, but in reality, both the star and the planet are orbiting some common center of mass between them. Based on the wobble that star does, you can determine what mass exoplanet is causing that motion. Once you know the mass of a planet and the size, you will then know the volume, 4/3 pi r cubed for a sphere, the average density. When we plug in those numbers for superpuffs, they tend to have densities around 0.1 grams per cubic centimeter, which is about the density of cotton candy. But realize that this is just the average density. So you'd be wrong to think that flying through this planet would be like flying through a land of cotton candy or something. Why is a planet that's roughly the size of Jupiter only a few Earth masses? How could that be? Almost all of the superpuffs that we have found are in extremely young systems that are just a few 100 million years old. These young planets, they have what are called primordial atmospheres. When a planet first forms, it ends up accumulating a significant atmosphere that ultimately it'll lose because the star itself will slowly erode it away. And what happens when you heat up gas? It expands. It makes the planet look larger than it will, let's say, in a couple billion years. In cases where the planet is not extremely young, they are extremely close to their star. If you have a planet with a significant gas composition and you park it right next to a star, it's going to get blasted with a bunch of high energy radiation. You heat up gas, the gas expands, it makes the planet look much larger than it otherwise would. These cotton candy planets, these superpuffs, are absolutely a real thing, and while they're still a bit of a mystery, we don't know with 100% certainty exactly how and why they are the way that they are. It is pretty compelling that they are always found in either extremely young systems or systems that have planets extremely close to their stars.